Hi Leo, welcome to your love reading for October 2019. Let's go ahead and see what is going on with your love life. This is the love reading for the sign of Leo for October 2019. The first card you have, Leo, is the Four of Cups. Love reading for the sign of Leo for October. Ten of Swords. Love reading for the sign of Leo for October. Ace of Pentacles. Love reading for the sign of Leo for October. The Star. Love reading for the sign of Leo for October. Seven of Pentacles. Love reading for the sign of Leo for October. Ten of Rods. Love reading for the sign of Leo for October. Knight of Pentacles. Love reading for the sign of Leo for October. Three of Rods. Love reading for the sign of Leo for October. Knight of Rods. What's the most important thing that Leo needs to hear about their love life for October 2019? The Five of Pentacles. So the Five of Pentacles is a card of suffering. Based on everything that I see here, I am going to go through each card. I feel like, this is a really tough time for you. This is a card of feeling abandoned, lonely, and just hurting emotionally. So let's come back to this in a minute and see how it ties in with the rest of the reading. If you would like a private reading with me, just scroll down and you'll see a link to my website, channeledguidance.com. Okay, so let's see what you have here. You have the Four of Cups, the Ten of Swords, and the Ace of Pentacles. So you're starting off with this energy of being just, really unhappy with the Four of Cups. I see someone here who is... maybe you've been unhappy for so long that you don't even realize how long you've been in pain, because you also have the Ten of Swords right next to it. Some of you, I see someone here who's been kind of deeply hurt or betrayed and who has not yet been able to move on. That is the main message of the Ten of Swords. It's time. It's time that you just move on. You see the person in the card here. They have kind of picked themselves up and they're walking away without leaving a trail of blood behind them. That is the message of the Ten of Swords. It's time. It's time to move on. There's this energy here of being kind of numb with pain with the Four of Cups. This is, kind of feeling you've distanced yourself from everyone and you're just kind of dwelling on your pain. There is a new beginning here for you. You have the Ace of Pentacles. I feel like for those of you where you decide to move on from something painful, there is a lot of happiness. There's a new opportunity. This can definitely be for those of you who are single, where you're dwelling on someone, who maybe hurt you, a relationship that didn't happen. It's definitely time for you to move on. There is a new person coming in for you. Now, for those of you who are already coupled, maybe you need to kind of leave behind a really painful time in your relationship, in your marriage. Maybe you don't know how long, you don't realize how long you've been dwelling on it. Again, there is suffering here. There's a sense of loneliness and isolation. It doesn't have to be that way because you do have a new beginning here with the Ace of Pentacles. Now, in the second row, you've got the Star, the Seven of Pentacles, and the Ten of Rods. So the Star does represent the sign of Aquarius, and you might be dealing with the sign of Aquarius. The Star does represent your hopes and wishes. Your hopes and wishes being granted. And I feel like you have put in a lot of effort here to make that happen. You have the Seven of Pentacles, which, this is a card of, making decisions. You see the person kind of planting seeds here, so to speak, the Pentacles. I feel like you've done a lot to maybe make a relationship happen or a marriage, to keep things together. The Seven of Pentacles means that you've been kind of investing a lot of time. You've been trying to make decisions. But I see someone here who is very fed up. The Ten of Rods is feeling really burnt out. You feel like you really don't have anything left to give. This does tie in with the first card, the Four of Cups. Feeling kind of numb with pain, feeling unhappy, unfulfilled. It can be for some of you that maybe someone is making a decision. The Seven of Pentacles also does represent someone's just being very, very careful about what they're going to do next. Someone is trying to decide, like, what am I going to do about this relationship? What am I going to do about this marriage? They're planning their next move. But at the same time, there is a very tired energy here. There is something very exhausting and drained. Based on these two rows, I feel like someone's trying to kind of keep something together that is just like it's either over or it's not worth your time. That's just what I'm getting. Now, in the third row here, what you have is the Knight of Pentacles, the Three of Rods, and the Knight of Rods. So you have both of these cards here. The Knights do represent change and movement. And it's like you're waiting for things to change. And this, in the middle, you have the Three of Rods, which is all about waiting for that perfect situation, the perfect timing. And again, with the Knights around it, it's like you've been waiting for change. You've been unable to move on because you've been waiting for something to change, but at the same time you're tired, exhausted, fed up, you're unhappy, unfulfilled. Also with the Knight of Rods, this is kind of this energy of not wanting to give up on someone. So I'm definitely tying the Knight of Rods in with the Ten of Swords. This Knight refuses to give up. This Knight refuses to back down. This Knight will not give up on a relationship or a marriage. But the Ten of Swords is tapping Leo on the shoulder and saying it's time that you move on, because I feel like you've been waiting for some time here with the Three of Rods. The Three of Rods ties in with the Knight of Pentacles. There's been slow progress, slow movement, no matter, what you've done to kind of bring a relationship or a marriage together. Let me get a few more cards and see what other messages you get. What other messages are there for the sign of Leo for October? You have the Queen of Rods. Messages for the sign of Leo for October. Six of Pentacles, actually Eight of Pentacles, and the Page of Rods. So, you are the Queen of Rods as a fire sign. That's definitely your energy. If you have a partner who's also a fire sign, that can be them. Again, there's been a lot of effort here. You have the Eight of Pentacles. There's been a lot of work that you have put in. This is exactly what I was telling you about this side of the reading. I feel like you've done everything that you can. For some of you, there can be a positive change. Remember, this is a general reading. You have the Page of Rods. This can be communication. All the pages represent communication, and this is good news, but it's also excitement. It's also change and adventure. So for some of you, it's not hopeless, but for others, there is a pretty crystal clear message here that for some of you that you've been waiting and you've been unable to move on. It's time that you do that. Let's go ahead and get a few cards from the confirmation deck. What other messages are there for the sign of Leo for October? You've got Judgment. Messages for the sign of Leo for October. Nine of Pentacles. And the Five of Wands. What's the most important thing that Leo needs to hear about their love life for October? The Two of Cups. So, this is soulmate energy, a strong bond. It could be that you have not yet been able to move on because you feel like this person is my true soulmate, the person I belong with. That is the energy of this card. I've never felt this way before. Yeah, and there's also a lot of pain, a lot of suffering here with the Five of Pentacles. So you have Judgment, Nine of Pentacles, and Five of Wands. So, here, you've got Judgment, which does represent a new beginning, a second chance for a relationship coming back to life. But, you also have the Nine of Pentacles. So, the Nine of Pentacles, this is telling you that you need to value yourself. Because some of the stuff over here, this is definitely not valuing yourself. It's like you're degrading yourself. You might be begging somebody. You definitely don't want to do that. I can't even imagine the sign of Leo begging. The Nine of Pentacles is saying, this is about self-love, self-worth, and integrity. Really, if you are, because, you have this with Judgment, which is about, a relationship coming back to life. You're being told, value yourself, put your self-worth, before this person, because it could be that you and this person are very different. You have the Five of Wands. This is, just egos clashing. There's just something that's very different about you. You want very different things. There could also be a lot of fighting, a lot of bickering. So again, you're just being told, think of yourself. Put yourself first. Because I feel like for some of you, let me just look this over before I move on to the X spread. Yeah, the Ten of Swords, it just really stands out here. It's like you don't want to move on. You're refusing to move on. And you don't know how long you've been in this energy where you've been unhappy. And you've been unfulfilled. And that is the main energy as well. You feel abandoned, you feel lonely, you feel like somebody slammed the door in your face, yet you can't move on when there's actually a new opportunity waiting for you. And it can be that for some of you, I see somebody here who's, again, is someone who is thinking what should I do next? What should I do next to make this wish come true? Maybe to get back together or to stay together. What should I do? At the same time, somebody is exhausted, fed up, tired, and frustrated. And that is the same message I see down here with the Knights. Movement and change, and just kind of waiting. That's why you're being told, put yourself first, think of yourself before dwelling too much on a relationship that's not happening. Okay, let's go ahead and move on to the X spread. Okay, Leo, let's go ahead and see what is going on with your ex. Let's see what comes up from this deck. Show us the energies around Leo and their ex. You have the Knight of Cups, Leo and their ex. Two of Cups. So this is a repeat card because it was in the first spread. Leo and their ex for October. The Nine of Cups, Leo and their ex for October. Knight of Wands. This was also in the first spread. Leo and their ex for October. Three of Cups. So you have the 2 and the 3 of Cups lined up here. Leo and their ex for October. 3 of Swords. Leo and their ex for October. Ace of Pentacles, which was also in the first spread. Leo and their ex for October. 2 of Pentacles. Leo and their ex for October. And the Page of Pentacles. Okay, so it's kind of a slightly different energy, although there's kind of a little bit of the same as well, with the 3 of Swords popping up here, the 2 of Pentacles, and the Page of Pentacles. Let's go ahead and start at the top. You have the Knight of Cups, the 2 of Cups, and the 9 of Cups. So, I mean, there's definitely a lot of emotion here. And you also have the 3 of Cups here, all cups. So you have 4 cups in this spread so far. I'm going to get more. There's definitely a lot of emotion around you and your ex. You did start with the 4 of Cups in the first spread, feeling kind of unhappy, numb. The 5 of Pentacles was also the main energy. You're feeling lonely and abandoned, suffering. You know, there's movement here for you. The Knight of Cups is all about opportunities. There is, you know, positive movement around those of you where you want to reconnect with an ex. You have the Soulmate card. This card came up in the first spread. You also have the 9 of Cups, which this just represents you being extremely happy, which ties in with the 3 of Cups. So some of you, there is that opportunity for change. I remember you did have the Page of Wands in the first spread that came up with your energy. So for some of you, that connection can still happen. I mean, we are looking at a situation with you and your ex where you're no longer together. For some of you, there could be zero communication. Yet a wish can also be granted. This is a card of wish fulfillment. That connection is still there. Now if we look at the second row, we have the Knight of Wands, the 3 of Cups, the 3 of Swords. I feel like the connection between you and your ex, it could still happen, but is that what you really want? I mean, I see that in the second row, and I see it in the third row as well. It's kind of iffy. This is telling you, like, it could happen, but is that what you really want? You know, I see someone here who is very persistent. I mean, you had this card in the first spread. The Knight of Wands, again, this is someone who refuses to back down. This is someone who's not going to stop until they get what they want. And it could be that you get what you want. You have the 3 of Cups, because I see you here, you know, celebrating. I've gotten my ex back. You know, it worked. Everything that I've done, it's not been in vain. You're celebrating. There's happiness, but there's pain again. The 3 of Swords. This is, you know, the breakup card or the divorce card. Your heart is broken. So for some of you, you got to be careful around reconnecting with your ex, because this is the ex spread. And although I see you extremely happy and celebrating, some of you might end up heartbroken again. And the third row is actually telling you, let me just kind of jump around here. You've got the Page of Pentacles. This card only comes up when you're being told, think about things very carefully, look deeper, look closer. You might have a chance to reconnect with your ex, but is that what you really want? Like, is this truly in your best interest? Because you had the 9 of Pentacles in the first spread. This is telling you, like, value yourself. Like, don't degrade yourself for someone who's not worth it. It could be that you're dealing with an ex who's not worth it. This is saying look at things very, very carefully. Because although I see that you could be extremely happy with an ex situation, I still see heartache here. I mean, it can definitely be that some of you, maybe you need to talk about things. The pages do represent communication. You need to talk about why you broke up. Maybe that is an issue that's still there. You need to really talk about things, but I also feel like there could be heartache after a time of being extremely happy. You also have the Ace of Pentacles, which was also in the first spread. This is obviously a new beginning for you and for your ex. A very unexpected new beginning. Things could just fall into place, or suddenly you're talking again, you're together. But still, I mean, look at this. You've got the 2 of Pentacles. Again, this is something you definitely don't want to see when you're asking about an ex, because it means that there's still a lot of instability. You could also be dealing with someone that could change their mind. The 2 of Pentacles is wishy-washy behavior. Someone could say, yeah, you know, let's get back together. You know, I still want to be with you. And then the next day they may say, actually, I think it's best that we go our separate ways again, which is what I'm seeing here. That's why you're being told, look at this very carefully. so that you're not hurt again. Because unfortunately, I see someone being hurt again after being happy, and it's like your world comes crashing down again. And it could be here that for some of you there's a choice, because to me this is a card of choices, and you know, for some of you there could be someone else. I mean, this is a juggling energy, a juggling act. There could be someone else where, you know, someone's kind of choosing between you and another person. So again, you're being told to be very careful around, you know, letting somebody back in your life. Let me get a few more for you. Leo and their ex for October 2019. Ace of Swords, Leo and their ex for October. The Hierophant, the Seven of Swords. Okay, so let's look at these three. I mean, the Ace of Swords, this is about clarity and truth. So you've got truth and you've got deceit. I mean, there really is no way to try to make this card pretty. I mean, I've never seen anyone try to make it pretty, and there really is no way, just like the Five of Swords. This is deceit. It can definitely be self-deceit, kind of maybe you're in denial about something. And we did have the Ten of Swords in the first spread saying that, you know, it's time to move on. And for those of you where that applies, like, you already know that. You don't need me to tell you that. For some of you, it could be that you're in denial about something, and it's time for the truth. It's time for clarity, because that's what the Ace of Swords represents. It represents a new perspective. You need to look at things in a different way. You also have the Hierophant, which does represent the sign of Taurus. But the Hierophant is also, you know, it's a very spiritual energy, kindred spirits and soulmates. So some of you may be feeling, because you actually have the soulmate card right here, and it was also in the first spread. Some of you might be feeling like, you know, your ex is like, they were the one. I mean, they were the one, and you might be thinking like, you know, there's not going to be anybody else. And for some of you, maybe this is kind of something that you need to change, because the Ace of Swords is a change of perspective, seeing things clearly. It could be that maybe kind of focusing on this ex. For some of you, you are meant to reunite. I just feel like there can be heartache again, so you want to be careful around this. But I also feel with these three cards that for some of you, kind of thinking like this person is the one and there's never going to be anybody else. With the Hierophant being here, and the Seven of Swords, like some of you could be in denial, like you could be your own worst enemy, and some of you might be having clarity in the month of October, like, oh, you know, this is what this person was really about, or this was actually the truth about this person. Some of you may reconnect with your ex again, and then kind of really see the truth about them with the Ace of Swords. They can also, I mean, if you broke up because of cheating, there was somebody else, it could be that you're actually hearing the truth about that for the month of October, really kind of learning what really happened. Okay, let me get a few more cards from the confirmation deck, and let's see what comes up for you. What other messages are there for the sign of Leo about their ex for October? Yeah, I mean, five and Seven of Swords, I definitely don't like that. There's just something very off about that. What other messages are there for the sign of Leo about their ex for October? The Lovers. Two of Swords. Okay, so, I mean, seeing the Five of Swords and the Seven of Swords in the same reading is just, it gives me the chills. I mean, I don't like it. I mean, I feel like there's something about this situation, somebody, where there's just kind of negative energy. There's something very negative here, and it could be that maybe, you know, that you're dealing with somebody that maybe left you in a horrible way. Because I mean, the main energy from the first spread was, you know, suffering. You felt abandoned. You felt like somebody slammed the door in your face. You know, and in this, you're being told here to kind of be careful, because I feel like there's a chance for this person to come back into your life. But by doing that, this card also represents being your own worst enemy, and that's where these three cards come into play. The Five of Swords, it does represent an empty victory. That's exactly what I was telling you about this row right here. You might be really persistent and, you know, kind of refusing to give up on this person. We saw that with the Ten of Swords. You can get your wish. Like, you literally have the wish card, and there's a celebration, and then there's heartache again. So, I mean, I feel like there could be an empty victory, because you do have the Lovers card. I mean, you could be dealing with the sign of Gemini, but the Lovers also represents that this is the relationship that you want very much. Like, you want this person very much back in your life, but there's, you know, there's stuck energy there. Someone's refusing to take action. Someone's refusing to make a decision. Maybe, you know, somebody, for some of you, I feel like you are reconnecting. It's hard to say in a general reading, but there's just like a theme in this whole spread of like, be careful. Be careful, because it could be if you reconnect with this person, You might be sorry eventually. That is the message of the Five of Swords. This could be an empty victory. You might get what you want and then think like, why didn't I just let this person go in peace? Why did I bring them back into my life? But there is, someone here refusing to make a decision. It could be that you're trying to, kind of bring this person back into your life and they're saying no. They're kind of resisting. That makes sense with the Two of Swords. Again, there's just kind of instability. It's kind of up in the air. But I do feel like, with the Knight of Wands 2 times, that you have done, kind of everything that you can to fix things or to bring this person back into your life. But I do feel like you could have some clarity in the month of October about what's really happening, how they really feel about you. Just make sure that you're kind of really honest with yourself. Because the Ace of Swords is clarity, but this is not clarity. This is kind of being in denial. Okay, Leo, this has been your love reading for October 2019. Hope you enjoyed it, and I'll speak to you again next month.